Do you really think you can kill me? Dustin retorted. Astrid chuckled as she said, I know you're talented, but we came prepared. I added trangurin to the tea you drank earlier. The poison is colorless and tasteless. Once ingested, your body will feel weak, and you won't even be able to use your true energy. Judging by the time, you should be feeling its effects right about now. Tranquerin? Dustin's expression shifted. Tranquerin was one of the 10 exotic medicines of the martial world. Although it wasn't deadly, it was the bane of many martial artists. It suppressed their true energy and weakened their bodies. These two effects of tranquerin were enough to put any martial artist in despair. He didn't expect Astrid to get a hold of it when it was nearly extinct. Give me the antidote. Dustin reached out to grab Astrid but stumbled and nearly fell. Before he knew it, sweat started to form on his forehead. Tranquerin is specifically meant to restrain expert martial artists like you. The more you exert true energy, the faster the medicine takes effect. How about it? Do you feel it already? Astrid grinned. To put Dustin under their control, the Dark Lord employed his precious treasure, which highlighted Dustin's value. Dustin, I'm going to ask you one more time. Are you going to submit to us or not? Astrid yelled. Dream on. Dustin forced himself to remain upright. You're still talking back. Are you not afraid of death? Astrid's expression darkened. She was out of patience. If it weren't for the Dark Lord valuing him greatly, Astrid would have killed him much earlier instead of wasting her time persuading him. Although tranquerin is powerful, I still have enough strength to make sure we die together. Dustin spat out coldly. You dash. Astrid was seething in anger. Just as she was about to make a move on Dahlia, a graceful figure descended from the second floor. Astrid, this guy is too stubborn. You won't get anywhere by using force. Why don't you let me talk to him? Azalea walked up to Dustin seductively. Azalea, you'll be able to persuade him? Astrid raised an eyebrow. Have you forgotten what I'm best at, Astrid? Azalea smiled. All right, go ahead and try. Astrid nodded. Azalea was not only good at face-changing art, but she was also skilled at the art of charming. She could make any man fall for her charms. Hey, doctor. We meet again. Azalea took out a handkerchief and wiped the sweat off Dustin's forehead. Does it feel bad? How about we go up and have a rest? Cut the crap. Dustin pushed her hand aside and uttered coldly, I will never collude with you. People. Why are you making this so hard, doctor? Azalea sighed lightly. If you join us and become my junior, we'll be together forever. Wouldn't that be great? What utter rubbish. Dustin glared at her. You want me to join you after I've witnessed you using such underhanded methods? Dream on. I know my actions have been impudent, but I have no other choice. I cherish you a lot, and I'd do anything for you, Azalea smiled as she said. Dustin sneered. If that is so, kill Astrid first, then, no problem. With a smile still on her face, Azalea suddenly drew her sword and stabbed Astrid's chest. Ooh, a dash. Astrid froze. Astrid looked at Azalea, who had a smile on her face, and then down at the sword in her chest. She was filled with shock and disbelief. She never imagined that Azalea would kill her without hesitation when she was smiling cheerfully just a second ago. There weren't any signs throughout the entire situation. What? Dustin was also bewildered at the sudden turn of events. He had casually mentioned it without expecting anything to happen. He would never imagine that Azalea would not only take it seriously but also act without hesitation and plunged her sword straight into her senior's chest. He wondered if this woman was ruthless or just truly insane. "Why?" Astrid spat out the words with difficulty, glaring at Azalea with wide eyes. Mixed emotions flashed across her face: disbelief, fury, resentment, and defiance. But above all, confusion clouded her face. She couldn't understand why Azalea would kill her. Was it solely based on Dustin's words? "Don't look at me like that, Astrid. You heard him. He asked me to kill you. I'm in a difficult position as well. You won't blame me, will you?" Astrid put on an innocent act. Astrid was about to say something when she spat out a mouthful of blood. Look at you, you soiled my clothes. Azalea patted the blood stains on her clothes in disgust before pulling out her sword forcefully. Following the sound of a sharp whistle, blood gushed from Astrid's chest, and her body went limp. She collapsed to the ground as life drained from her. Azalea, what are you doing? The group of masked women was shocked to see Astrid fall. They never imagined that they would end up turning against each other. You shall fall too. Azalea opened up her palm and blew lightly at the masked women, creating a crimson mist that enveloped everyone present. Soon, the unsuspecting group of people, including Dahlia, fell unconscious to the ground. They had set up various foolproof measures to deal with Dustin. However, they had failed to anticipate and have their guard up against the presence of a traitor. Azalea, you crazy woman. I can't believe you betrayed us. The Dark Lord will never forgive you. With her last breath, Astrid lifted her finger with difficulty, her expression filled with resentment. You don't need to worry about that, Astrid. Just go peacefully. Azalea bent down and stabbed her once more, relaxing only after she was certain Astrid was dead. After that, Azalea turned to face Dustin and smiled as she asked, "What do you think? Are you satisfied, Doctor? I don't understand. What do you mean by this?" Dustin frowned slightly, her actions coming off as strange. You said to kill Astrid earlier, so I helped you to do so. Is there a problem? Azalea tilted her head in confusion. Dustin could feel his eye twitching, and he added, "But she's your senior from the same guild. What about it? Isn't it normal for members of the same guild to kill each other in the martial world?" Azalea said it like it was a natural occurrence. You're truly insane. Dustin shook his head. He could tell that the woman in front of him was not mentally stable. Doctor, not only did I betray my guild for you, but I also killed my senior. You're so mean for calling me that. Azalea pouted with a bitter expression. What exactly are you trying to do? Dustin questioned her. Don't overthink it. I just want to be friends with you, nothing more, Azalea said with a grin. I don't think I can afford to be your friend. There might come a day where you'd thrust a knife into my back, Dustin responded bluntly. Hey, I can't bear to do that. Besides, if anyone is thrusting anything, it'd be you. She smiled charmingly. The corners of Dustin's mouth twitched upon hearing her words. Did this woman just make a dirty joke? If there's nothing else, I'm leaving. Unwilling to stay any longer, Dustin prepared to leave and picked up the unconscious Dahlia. Hold on. Azalea suddenly took out a small vial and passed it to Dustin. This is the antidote for Kirrin. You should take it. Otherwise, you'll have serious long-term effects. There's no need. I wasn't poisoned. Dustin shook his head. Azalea was taken aback. You weren't poisoned. But you were sweating and lost your strength. You guys can't be the only ones allowed to act, don't you think? Dustin replied nonchalantly. Although Kirrin was powerful, it was only effective against martial artists below the rank of grandmasters. When used against grandmasters, its effects were greatly diminished. The remaining effects of the poison would be easily neutralized. You pretended so well that even I couldn't tell. Azalea was in shock for a moment, then she rolled her eyes. If I had known you weren't poisoned, I wouldn't have taken such a big risk and killed my senior. I just put myself in trouble. I appreciate your goodwill. Consider me indebted to you this time. Dustin changed the subject. No matter how he could have settled the situation himself, she did help him and even gave him the antidote voluntarily. Naturally, he had to accept her kindness. I'm reassured by your words. Azalea chuckled and gave a satisfied smile. Oh, by the way, you need to stab me before you go. Stab you? Why? Dustin was perplexed. We should complete the show. My seniors are dead, and I won't be able to explain it to my mentor if I return back unharmed. So, I need your help to stab me in the chest. Azalea opened up her coat as she spoke, revealing her voluptuous bosom. Is that necessary? Dustin frowned. The Dark Lord is not a good person. The venomous curse has been dispelled from your body anyway. He won't be able to control you any longer. Why do you still continue to be his disciple?